pizza Nate brings. It could be a reheated DiGiorno's or something. So, all right. So just kind of recapping the first 5 to 10 minutes. We'll just kind of be recapping what we had built last week. Because one, I think it'll be really, really good review to go over again. And two, I did not save where we were at the end of last week. So happy accident. So to start out with, right, we just have our state or our map. We just double click state. We're going to bring sum of sales over to color. We got this automatically. The next thing we want to do is create a parameter. And this is going to be our measure picker. Name these something different every single time. And we're just going to go sales. Nope, I'm going to make you squint tonight. We got sales, profit, discount. Right, then once we have our measure picker, we're going to show the parameter. And I always go to the single value list just so I can see them. Now we are going to create a calculated field, and we'll call this measure price. And since we have some extra time, I am going to use case statements this time. So case statements are very, very similar to the logic of if statements, just slightly different syntax. So when you write a case statement, you start with case, and you guys will learn about these in your SQL course. So Laura, I believe her name is, I've never met her, is going to come here tonight with Nate, and you guys will get an introduction, and she's going to be the professor for the next course. So I wish she was here right now so I could show off my SQL skills. But the way case statements work is you pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You're going to present, oh, there we go. The one and only Nate Watson. Hello, hello. We were just talking about you.
Sorry, Don.
All good. We can, you want to give your little spiel now? We're just kind of getting going here, or we can wait a bit too.
Yes, but let me go get something first.
Okay. Well, then we're going to crank through this case statement while you're gone.
Yeah, that's great.
So the way a case statement works is you can basically, similar to an if statement, you can give different cases. The pros and cons in each are if statements. You can be really, really dynamic. You can say if something is greater than this and equals this and blah, blah, blah. Case statements, you're pretty much just giving one specific thing that you're comparing against. So in this case, we're going to compare our measure picker. And then you just write when sales, then. So, right, if we were doing an if statement, we would go if measure picker equals sales, then, sales, then sales. Else if, right, that, and then we'd get into all of our different else if statements. The nice thing about case statements is we don't need to do that. We can just say the case is looking for measure picker. When sales, then sales. Then we can do another case when profit, then profit, when discount. And I think it's more so if you're just doing kind of like text comparison, case statements, in my opinion, are a lot more simple. However, if I wanted to do like if measure picker equals sales, as soon as I want to try to add in an and, case statements kind of start to break down, because basically for every when, you can just have one thing, when sales, then sales. But I could do and ship date greater than 2022-101, then, right. So once the if statements are more robust, so you can have more logic in them, but they're also a little bit, or not as clean to write, in my opinion, as case statements. So like I said, not super impactful one way or the other for the sake of Tableau, but when you get into SQL courses and things like that. Is Laura still planning on coming tonight, Nate?
Yep, should be your choice.
Sweet. So when she comes, she can teach you all about the differences between the two. But cool, then we have our measure choice. We drag it onto sum of sales, and it works as expected. Cool, so we're gonna call this our map. Now we're gonna move on to our scatter plot. Remember, it's gonna be something like sum of sales, sum of profit, and then whatever we wanna group by. So we'll start with just a category. We're gonna change this to a detail. Then we just need to replace our sum of profit, which is static right now, and our sum of sales. So we're going to create a y-axis and an x-axis. Again, that's going to be a list of strings. Sales, profit. Oh. We're going to show that. And then I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this a couple times. I'm working ahead. And this is going to be our y-axis. So we can edit this. We have our y-axis done. And then we can duplicate the parameter. And we're going to call this our x-axis. And edit this to be x-axis. Now we have a y or x. We can drag that up there. Let's show this. Whoops. And looks like discount because I decount. Type that in wrong. There we go. Discount, profit, sales, profit, discount. I guess you should probably make sure they're both right before you copy and paste them. Sweet. So now we have our map. We have our scatter plot. I guess the only other thing that we didn't have was our breakdown picker. So this is going to be, again, what we are deciding to group by. So let's go ahead and duplicate this one last time, edit it. And so this is going to be our breakdown picker. And instead of actual fields, oh wait, they're not going to be sales discount at all. My bad. They are going to be our dimensions at the top. So we'll go category. Subcategory. Do like ship mode, I think, for our last one. I'm going to go with another case statement. We'll do our breakdown picker now. When category. And we're going to bring the breakdown choice onto our details. So now we can see it by category, subcategory, and ship mode. And then I think we actually brought in the breakdown picker. Where is it? Oh, breakdown choice onto our labels as well. And I think that's everything we need to duplicate our dashboard. So I think you guys are all starting to use the fixed size now, which I think is good, especially as we're working off of laptops just to keep things consistent. And we brought our map and our scatter plot over. Remember, our measure picker goes to our map, so we're going to bring that over there with our measure choice. And then we have our scatter plot right here. So we're pretty much replicated what we had up to this point last week. Didn't waste too much time. And then we'll use kind of the remainder of the course or the class tonight to make this a little prettier and clean it up a bit. But I am going to pause for a second here, turn it over to Nate. He's going to talk through just kind of next steps, next class, and various Nate Watson things. So
Various Nate Watson.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah.
Couple things. Congratulations. You did it. You've made it.
Yay.
Right? Congratulations. Each one of you gets a cool certificate, right? Well, yours is not yours, obviously. This is right. But this means a couple things. One, it means family, which means you get to call me anytime and ask me any questions 5, 10, 12 years from now. Today I ran into a data scientist that used to work for us. I haven't seen him in 10 years.
Hey, Nate, hold on. Ted and James, can you guys hear okay? Sometimes my laptop's weird with the...
Yeah.
Okay.
I ran into a data scientist for the first time in 10 years. His name is Joe Goldberg, which is relevant in this story. But Joe worked for me in 2015, 14 and 15. And it was like we hadn't been apart for a day. I immediately asked him what he was doing, where he's doing. He asked me questions about who we should talk to. He's back in town from Austin. He's worked for a banking company for a number of years. Who should he call? What companies are doing data science in town? Who's the coolest company to work for? I immediately went home, drafted an email, sent it to a bunch of people. Like that's the coolness of being part of this. So you've all become part of my life. So welcome. So everybody will get one of these. I'll go through names in a second. Included is this. It is a certificate map. And anybody who's online, I will send this to you via email when I get home. I have certificates for all of you guys, and I will mail them to you. Everybody will get a digital one too, but having a real one's cool. So here is what you've just accomplished. This blue circle up here. Follow along the home game. Nice. Okay, so I will send this to you momentarily. That is not the way to do this. I will send it to you momentarily. So everybody who's done this class now has a data visualization cert. If you take the next two classes, which is go across the top in the first line, data manipulation and management, which is SQL, and introduction to Python, which is a Python class, you will get a business intelligence certificate. And then depending on when we teach the next three classes that are at the bottom here, the basic model building, model eval, and advanced modeling in Python, We're still working on if we're going to teach it in the summer or in the fall. You will get the machine learning and AI, and if you get both, you get the orange one straight now, which is fundamentals of data science certificates. Not only is the data science certificate a big deal, what will eventually become a master cert as opposed to a regular cert that you just got. It comes framed. It comes with gold foil embossed seal on it. Like, it's ridiculous. But it's designed to hang up because it is a big freaking deal. That one is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Now, I will tell you, it doesn't get any easier from here. It doesn't get any harder from here either. But this is the type of class that you guys are going to take many more of. Obviously, they will switch, but yeah. So there's that. So without further ado, let's see if I can do this. Ted, you're online, so I will mail you yours, Ted. Carrie's in here too. Anna. Welcome. I'm sure I spelled the name right. Everybody make sure I spelled the name right. Cherry. Sean. Brenda. See if you got it right. See if I got it right.
I have two last names, and it's not hyphenated.
Okay. Well, the nice thing is they're printable, so I'll give them a resign. But congratulations, guys. That's it's not an insignificant deal that you just got. Okay. We'll take a couple minutes. Actually, no, we won't. Let's go right to Laura, and then we'll take a couple minutes and get pizza. So I wanted to introduce you to the next professor. Laura's been a friend of mine for a long time. She's going to be teaching SQL, which does not start next week. It starts 2 weeks from now. Okay? So next week there is 0 class. We missed all of the snow. Yes. So no snow days that we had to make up. All right, and I wanted her to come and talk about her story, introduce herself so that you knew her. She is now a peer, just like Charlie is. You can reach out to her at any point. And yeah, so Laura.
All right. I feel a little bit weird standing behind this monitor because I want to interact, but I would also like to interact with you all. So my name is Laura Paulson. I appreciate all of this so much. It's a little bit of coming home for me. But just to give you a little bit of background about who I am right now. I'm the lead data analyst for US Cellular's operation group. So what that means is I support the operation group that keeps the US Cellular network running. So it's a 24/7 deal with what gets thrown at you when it gets thrown at you. And by the way, all of our money goes to sales. Engineering can figure it out. Or sales or engineering, they're a little closely tied. Operations can figure it out as it goes. So optimize what you spend, your process, the network and how you care for it. Like all those things, there's so much data. It's a great place to be because they're also operations engineers and they care about data, like they feel this or that. So it's been a really cool challenge of bringing this group of, sorry guys, all white males along on this little journey to listen to me. And I don't know that they wanted to in the beginning, but we've definitely moved that bar. And it comes from having that different sort of voice in that group think that they all have. They all want to do well. They needed someone else maybe to bug them a little bit. So that's my background. And it's everything from, oh my gosh, so much Tableau. I actually brought Tableau into the group. People had it maybe on their desktop or something like that, but I brought in Tableau Server so that we could share with our stakeholders in a way that was a lot more efficient. And currently working on the next phase of that okay, now let's put some governance around Tableau, and this is how you should do it and how you should publish it and how your data should look, which is the other part, is I do so much data manipulation, mainly in SQL, if not Tableau, because it's a little bit easier and a little lazier. But lazy in a good way, like you get it done. So SQL is kind of the other part of my life where you have to dig into that. And then I have to talk about SQL and I have to talk about Tableau and teach other people how to use those things, which I love to do because you can tell I'm pretty excited, get really excited about them. So I came into US Cellular. I previously was a structural engineer. I used to work on cell phone towers. Life changed and I needed something new to do. So how do I up my engineering skills and my experience in the telecom industry to somehow go into something that excites me more? And what I loved about what I did before, I managed a SQL server in my little office, and I got on W3 school, which I don't know you guys have ever just kind of like found a way to figure it out. Taught myself some SQL, a little bit, and then and I loved it, absolutely loved it. So when things were changing, it's like, okay, next phase in life, I want to do that. But how do you take yourself from here to there? Then there's Nate, who just started the Omaha Data Science Academy. That's what it was then. That's what it is now.
Yeah.
So I think I was in the third cohort.
Yes.
Something. So it was so perfect. So here was this way for me to take this acumen I've built up in life and what I like to do, and then get aligned with someone like Nate. And Nate, I will just a little sidebar. I went to grad school during this time too. Not to put down grad school, but the thing about Nate is he's going to tell you, this is what you need to learn to do the job. Let's get down to brass tacks. This is what we do. We don't, of course, there's theory and there's all of that, but you need to learn the skills and the skills that need to be done to get through your job. So, did that at the Data Science Academy. Was introduced to Tableau. I was blown away. I love that so much. I was corrected in my SQL skills, which some of my bad habits got erased, and some of the things I was like, oh, that's how that works. And I'm sorry, I want to talk here both ways. Sorry, guys. And then, getting into the statistical analysis, also mind-blowing, right? And had always done a little coding for fun to get Python where I could really code and make something useful pretty quickly. Python's so cool. I had learned C++ before, and you compile it and all of that. And here, Python, you just go. So yeah, I built up all of these new skills and wanted to take that back to telecom. Lucky, again, people that you meet, people that reconnecting from telecom folks. I got an interview for a brand new data science program they were starting. Terrified, right? Because I have to talk to them as if I know what I'm talking about, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but I'll talk anyway. So first I go through the personal, the engineers, the people who don't know data, I have to interview with them. Oh, I was so excited. And I can talk about this project and how you do this, and we optimized how we did that. And we were so much faster and we did so much better. Really good at that. Then I had to take a technical interview. Not necessarily, a lot more fear about that. What do I know about Python? What do I know about R? What type of, what's a linear regression model? What's an A/B analysis? What are these things? And I, at first, was scared to death. And actually, the first half hour failed this interview. I can't even tell you. Then I pulled out my notes from this class. I said, you know what? I just need a minute. I'm whatever. And I was lucky to get it. Pulled out my notes from this class and focused back with what I learned. I learned Tableau. I learned SQL. I learned how to build statistical models. And then pull that into where, things I know that let's focus here. Let's focus there. How do we do that analysis? So you can tell I didn't write this. I'm a little bit all over, but I just want to kind of take you from where I am right now. I am now the highest level data analyst. My official title is lead reliability support engineer, because we have to give weird titles. But, progressed from an entry-level person in that 5 years because of being an adult and having a background. There's a lot of kids right out of college that are right where they started because they don't have necessarily all the understanding of questioning things. And then I was given the skills I needed to do the job, right? So working with someone who's experienced in doing the job to say, this is what you need to know. This is where you're going to be the most effective, and go that direction. So all of that, that's me. So I'm so excited to talk about data manipulation. Tableau is cool, but this is what happens behind the scenes. When you're the one who have to take care of the data, get it where it should be. It is never where it should be. It never will be. Not for the problems that you want to solve. For the problems that are solved already, it's nice. And you can make nice reports off of it to say what we did year over year. But if you want to solve a new problem, you're going to have to fix the data to make it work. So that's what we're going to do. One, get a good understanding of Tableau or of SQL, the need for that sort of data manipulation, and then some practice with it. For me, I like to touch. I hear, I see. If I don't touch it, it goes away. So we'll do some of that too. So I'm really excited. And again, not to disparage you all, I'm talking to the men in the room. I was in civil engineering and then finance for a little bit, and now data science. This is the most women in data science I've ever seen in one place. So I really appreciate this. I like to see peers that way, so thank you. So yeah, I just threw out a whole mouthful after a lot of coffee today and just coming from work. Any questions from any of you all? I know we'll get to know each other through class, and there's pizza getting cold, so I don't want to talk too long, but are we good? All right, I'm excited to start. So 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
2 weeks from Monday. All right, thank you guys.
Ted and James will take a 5 to 10 minute break while we break bread and be back in a little bit to finish up. That work?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right.
Just to verify, it's 2 weeks old. You're talking about March 6th, or you're talking about 27th? It's just the two.
Right.
Yeah.
Just next week.
Yeah. And that's pretty more great.
I'm sorry, in my head it was in 2 weeks, but yeah, February 27th.
That's, yeah, process to be taught by. Just spent 8 hours doing it. I was thinking when she was talking about
Is this one? Is this where I put it?
I don't know. Yeah, like the theory of the rules behind it. Pull up and straight and do it. I just haven't been very complicated about it.
The Taco Bell hot Cheetos.
Right. I don't know. Yeah.
10 years. 9 years plus. Correct. Not just, but he moved a lot of that during COVID, I believe. So he's kind of just now getting back into that.
Is the worst. Okay, so this is my own monitor that I brought.
Okay, so
Because
that you
I-
could see what was
yeah.
happening.
If you're fine just working off a laptop, yes, the way it works is I'm sharing this screen on the TV, and then when I'm ready to present, I share this screen. So it's kind of weird because I'm sharing this screen to here, but sharing this screen to here to keep track.
Yeah,
But then that way I can work on my normal screen. The people remote can see it, and the people in class can see it. But this is my monitor, my giant extension cord, my giant plug-in thing.
Okay,
everything
oh,
like
good
that.
to know.
So
Yeah,
all that really comes with the room is just the TV and HDMI.
Okay.
So
All right, and then where the camera is your laptop also?
laptop as well, yeah. If I were to do it again, something that we've talked about here is it would kind of be nice to have like a webcam because I would like to be able to show the people in class, especially because, so what I normally do is I have them join, even if they're in class, join with their cameras here just so everyone can see. But like when they ask questions, since the microphones are right here, yeah, exactly. So a webcam would maybe potentially be nice there, but yeah, they got the chargers for the laptops and everything like that. Bathroom's just right through the hall there. Nate has a tab to like, what's it called?
Oh, for
Hardy's Coffee or whatever on the corner of the building. So before class, I just grabbed some coffees for everyone. And a little treat for myself on Nate. So
Oh, that's really nice.
yeah, works out.
There is a vegetable pizza. One of you guys is vegetarian? Okay. You got
Oh,
vegetarian
get
pizza?
pizza. Yeah.
Oh, I actually ate before I came, so I'm
All
not.
right, good. I'm actually like a great drink.
I use all
Okay.
Oh, there you go. I have really no idea what time it is. I wake up in the morning and I just. It always takes me. Where am I?
You might want garlic, we have garlic sauce and marinara for your bread stuff, whatever. You want marinara?
I'm good.
Okay.
Son and my mom. Absolutely.
You love this?
They come back and look nice, so I have a place in the morning. Kind of like I'm doing.
Yeah, jealous.
I'll do this.
Yeah.
I think it's just.
Something else I'll mention, if you run into people and you're talking about class and they're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, we'll just start them in the next class. We'll just start them in SQL. They'll take it out of order, but that's okay. It works better if you take it in order, no doubt. So we can start them in the summer too. But let me know, the foundation's got some cash. We actually qualify for WIOA before we start the summer session. So if you guys have friends who qualify for that, you will be eligible. So we can get them enrolled in that, and there'll be enough time for that. Let me know. I do have working on some companies to do some internships. So my friend Karen Borger, who worked for WP Engine Flywheel, who then worked for, I don't remember, Borger came from somewhere famous. She runs a company now called Alpaca. Alpaca is a really cool company that is for supplying school supplies for classrooms. And she's looking for at least a data visualist, maybe two. So it'll be a couple months internship paid. And so we're working the details out on that. We had to get through data viz first. But then DMSI, I think, is going to do one. I might even get BT to take an intern.
Yeah.
So there'll be more opportunities as we get through BI. That's kind of when it opens up. But yeah, and then we're trying to nail down some jobs too. So there's some roles that are opening up. We'll about halfway through SQL, I'll come in or I'll send you guys an email, and I think Rochelle, somebody sent me their resume. Was it you? Okay. No, that's fine. Everybody needs work.
Okay.
So that's the point. So I'll have you guys send me your resumes. We will we'll take 30 minutes of a class and go through the resumes.
Quick plug on resumes. So you guys all have a Tableau Public profile now with at least 7 weeks of stuff published there. Put your Tableau Public link in your resume.
Absolutely.
I've gone through, like I mentioned, literally 1,000 resumes in the past 5 years. anytime, they all look exactly the same. Anytime I pull one open and I see a Tableau public link at the top, even if I go there and it's shitty, I know, oh, they know Tableau, they know how to publish stuff to Tableau public, and they're at least somewhat trying to set themselves above and beyond. So it makes me stop. I mean, out of the 1,000 I've went through, I've maybe seen 50 with a Tableau public resume. It immediately sets you apart.
Best piece of advice I have on resumes. I stole this, cannot credit me for this. Bold is not a font. Okay? Bold is not a font. Bold is what you use to emphasize a word or two. So if you have Tableau, I actually tell people unbold everything, every single thing in your entire resume, and then go back and bold the word Tableau. Whereas when I look at a resume, do you know that most people's resumes, the thing that I see first is their name. Do you know what I care the least amount about on a resume? Your name. I don't care what your name is until I hire you, and then I care about your name. Your name should not be bold. Your name should not be prevalent. Your name should not be the first thing I see in your resume. It needs to be skills. So many resumes I see, they are what you have done. Please do not tell me what you have done. Please tell me what you can do. Okay? So, bold is not a font. I'm totally stealing this. I think I'm gonna make a shirt out of it. Like, I love it that much. Bold is not a font. Put your skills at the top. And your resume will already be 100% better, but we'll work on it. We'll give you some wording for Tableau to get you qualified for all this stuff. But you are now qualified. This is also the piece that I forgot to say. You are now qualified for any and every entry-level Tableau position or data visualization position you can find. The whole thing's designed that way, right? We pulled Tableau and data visualization positions, we pulled their job requirements, we combined them all, and I handed them to Charlie, and that's what this thing's designed off of. So you have those skills. If you wanted to tomorrow, you could apply for those. Even if you only, and this is for the ladies, the guys are notorious for 50% of the way there, that's good enough. You guys are notorious for, I don't qualify because I only have 9 out of 10 bullet points. If you have more than 50% of any bullet point on any job, apply. I guarantee you're more qualified than half of the people that have applied. So the rule of thumb is 50%. If you're 50%, actually the rule of thumb is if you like the job, just apply. But 50% is you're qualified, okay? No one is 100% qualified. It's just the way it is. That's the way HR works. So continue to eat. I'm very proud of you guys. Yeah, so cool stuff. I'm gonna eat.
Yeah.
Continue.
I feel like it's really, really anticlimactic going back to Tableau class now. But I do, like I mentioned, tonight's pretty much just going to be prettying up the dashboard that we made last week.
We sure get everybody that.
Right. James and Ted, are you guys back from enjoying your salads?
Asleep.
I'm back.
No.
Sweet. Very cool. So this is where we're at as of last time. One question that I think 3 or 4 people had, and Brenda was really mad at me for not answering it last week, and I told her to wait, was how we add in kind of aggregated measures into our if statements and our parameters. So for example, let's say one of the things that we were trying to do was add in orders, right? That was something that I had in mind. It wasn't shown in this. Let's actually create let's make it a lot simpler and create a new sheet just to walk through what's going on here. I can expand it. So let's say we got our classic categories across the bottom. Oh, my bad. Let me scoot this over. I can move. This thing has wheels. Yeah. And then I think this actually comes out to a little bit.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we have our categories across the bottom, and let's do our measure choice on the rows. Measure picker, we're gonna go and show that parameter. So we can do sales, profits, discounts. Now we wanna add in just a total count of orders, right? So we're gonna go ahead and open up our measure choice, edit. And Laura, we just learned about case statements tonight, and they're intrigued, so I'm sure you'll cover them at some point in SQL. So we want to add in, I guess the first thing we're going to do is add that in our measure picker, right? We're going to go edit. And we're going to add orders. So now we can go back to our measure choice, and we're going to try to add when orders. Then, and this is the same thing we've done every other time. We drag this in, whoops. And we get the awful squiggly red lines. It says cannot mix aggregate and non-aggregate comparisons or results in case expression. It said the same thing when we typed in the if statement, so you don't worry about the case part. Does anyone want to take a stab at what they think this is saying or what's going wrong here? Close. So Ryan said we need to add an ATTR, which is technically right. It's in the right vein. That's the classic Tableau error for sure. A lot of times ugly spaces get mixed in there, but not actually what's going on here. So what this little extra variable at the bottom does, and you'll see this no matter what data set you bring in. Right now, remember, we're bringing in, we're going to go ahead and save it. We're bringing in the order sheet. And so regardless of what table you bring in Tableau, they'll always give you this handy little extra variable at the bottom. It just says orders, that's the name of our table, in parentheses count. So all that's saying is you can use that as just a count. However, up here on our rows, see how we have the sum of the measure choice? That's just like if we brought in sum of sales, right? Or sum of profit, that's everything that's going on in the background. So it's aggregating our measures down at the bottom here. When we tried to add the count of orders, edit. Now in the background, it's saying when it's orders, give the count of orders. And then we tried to drop that on our rows. Oops. Let me drag it because it's broken. And then it tried to sum it. So it was trying to do a sum of a count of orders. So that's why it's saying in our error message here, cannot mix aggregate and non-aggregate. So this is an aggregate expression, right? Count of orders. These are all non-aggregated. Exactly. Yep, exactly. The rows, the flat across. So then we're trying to aggregate them then. So what we're going to do, which opens up the possibilities to make this calculated field way more dynamic and way more powerful, is we can actually go in and add our aggregations inside the calculated field. So we are going to do, if they say sum, we want the sum of sales. If they say profit, give us the sum of the profit. If they say discount, give us the sum of the discount. And now we no longer have a mix of non-aggregated and aggregated fields, so we no longer have the error message. So now when we click OK and we bring measure choice up here, now instead of saying sum of measure choice like it was saying before, it gives us this little AGG. So that's why I said, Ryan, you're really close with the ATTR, which stands for attribute. This is saying AGG, which stands for aggregate. So it's saying this field is already aggregated. So now we can click into orders and we have the ability to use the count of orders, which we had. That also allows, because remember measure choice, and we were preaching this last week, even though it's dynamic enough and has 4 kind of if statements or case statements in the background, Tableau treats it as just one measure. So we were summing it up before. So no matter what we clicked on here, we had to say the sum of whatever we picked. However, now that we're aggregating inside of it, we can add things like measure picker. Let's say we want to give the user the ability to see average sales. and average profit. Let's find some time to link in the next 2 weeks, and I'll give you the key, and then you can hand it off to Laura.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Laura, very nice to meet you. Absolutely. If you can get my contact info from Nate, Laura, I can send over some material and stuff like that. Yep. Cool. So now we can open up measure choice, and instead of having to show the sum of whatever we had up there, we're saying that we're going to aggregate it inside. So we can do when average sales, then let's show average sales and average profit. Show average profit. So now we're not locked in with just sum. We can show average sales, right? Technology, 452. If we go up here, which we should probably name sum of sales, we're showing the 800K. Average profit is around 78. Ooh, a lot of margins on the tech. Whereas profit is 150K. So that's why we weren't able to do the count that we were wanting to do last week. And you can see that aggregating inside the calculated field opens up the door for anything you wanted to do. Even if you wanted to do, we want to use some of our dimensions instead. So this is actually how I did orders. Let's do something like, and we're going to go backwards. We're going to add it into our calculated field first. Let's do customers. We can add account distinct. Isn't there a customer ID? Yeah, customer ID. So this is a dimension, so not something we can normally aggregate, but now that it's inside of here and we're aggregating, we're counting distinct, it's going to count the distinct number of customer IDs we have. So we need to make that an option. When we click on that, we can see the number of customers that we have in each category as well. So that's the kind of, and I know one of you is instantly going to ask, what's the best way to do it? Do you aggregate it after, aggregate it before? I like to keep them unaggregated. So kind of the way we had it the first time, because that gives you more flexibility to do stuff down the road. However, for a use case like this, where you're wanting to show different aggregations inside of one field, it's probably best to aggregate them inside the calculated field and just bring that aggregated measure up to the top. So any questions about how we did that, or why we did that, or what's working and not working? In the calculated field? On a Windows computer, it will be Control-C for copying. Yep. Control copy, control paste. Yep, no fancy Tableau magic there. And that's another, so Tableau copying and pasting is really cool. You can, let's see, copy formatting. Maybe you can't do it in Tableau Public, but in Tableau Server, you can actually copy and paste entire sheets. Which is neat. Any other questions around the aggregated measures? Yep. And if you guys want seconds of pizza, feel free to get up and get it throughout. Okay, the next question that we got a lot last week, and I am following the syllabus, just so you guys know, I didn't make this stuff up, is how do we get our X and Y axis, right? If we go profit here, discount here, these are remaining to be just X axis, Y axis. So this is where we get into some cool kind of Tableau workarounds. So let's go sales and profit just to, I like having some good data. There we go. Now, the first thing that the easy solution is you can actually bring your parameter, which is what we have over here, and bring it up to your rows. So you can see we have sales here. If we click into profit, that updates to profit, updates to discount. And you can bring your x-axis here. So that is, now you see we have discount here, profit here, sales here. That's one way to do it. It works fine. Then I would probably go in and I would hide that. So now I just have sales and discount. However, the annoying thing is, let's get rid of this. It puts the discount, since that's not actually what the axis is, right? The axis is down here. It puts it at the top, and Tableau doesn't have a really clean way for, you can't just say, hey, show that on the bottom. So for right now, we're going to get rid of that one and focus on our y-axis. This is something that we've done a million times. We right click, we go format. The format tab, I've been using Tableau. I feel like every time I want to try to do something, all roads lead back to the format tab. So I'm still learning things about it. But what we're going to do to make this look a little nicer is we're going to go into alignment, and you see there's a little direction option here. We're just going to turn the sideways one, and then we're going to go and we're going to make it bold. And now it looks just like a typical y-axis would look like in Tableau, even though we're kind of cheating and it's not actually the y-axis. It just looks like it is. So now if we click around profit discount, that updates. So now we just need to figure out how to fix our x-axis. And this is what we're going to do. So here we are on our dashboard. We are actually just going to create a sheet here. I think you guys are really going to like this. We're going to bring our x-axis and just toss, our parameter x-axis, toss that onto detail. Why is it not letting me? It's weird. Okay, so we have x-axis on detail. Now we learned last week that we can use parameters anywhere. So we're going to go up into the title here, and we're just going to we're going to bring in the x-axis here. And then to get rid of this ugly little ABC, we are going to, what can we do? There we go. Take the color of the ABC. So we just clicked on color here and moved it all, the opacity all the way down to 0. So now on our dashboard, we bring in this new fake sheet that we just made. We drag it underneath to the bottom here, make it really small, make it the entire view, click into the title, make it center aligned, make it size 10 and bold. Actually, I think it's size 9. You're probably just clicked on the x-axis on sales here. But now, look what we've done is we've made a fake axis at the bottom here, which is really just the title of another sheet. But now when we click into our x-axis, that updates to what we're showing. Our y-axis is slightly different font, which I don't love. I think it may be Tableau Medium and black. Yeah, that looks right. So this little, using another sheet as a fake title is actually something that I use quite a bit in Tableau. A lot of times what I'll do is, even like if I have different sections in my dashboard, I'll bring in another sheet. Oops. I'll bring in another sheet, you know, maybe at the very top. I'll rename it something like, I can use sheets as headers. And what that allows you to do is titles have slightly different formatting stuff than just like a normal text thing in Tableau. Tableau bold, white. So again, this is just another sheet, just like everything else that we've added, but we're using it to our advantage in our dashboard. So now we have 2 sheets in here. It's already starting to look a lot nicer. But you can be really, really creative with your dashboard design, I guess is the moral of the story here. So then another thing that I was helping, I can't remember who with at the end, was just the dimensions of your dashboard. Say I want to make, like if I want to make one side slightly bigger or smaller, that's pretty easy to do. But say this measure choice thing here, right? I can't make just that smaller. It has to take up the full length because it's its own individual, what are these called? Objects? Container. It's its own individual container. So what I have to do is you can use this handy little, and I used to think the blank object was just the most useless thing in the entire world. But what I can do is I can pull that blank object up to the right side of my measure choice. And now I can move and make my measure choice as big or small as I want it to be. And actually what I think I'm going to end up doing, let's make this a little smaller. Let's go with the compact list. Maybe we can bring this up. Maybe we can bring this up. Actually, maybe you might bring in another blank object. Whoops. What's going on here? I did. Oh, it is actually broken. It is saying, oh, we still have our sum of measure choice. We just need to change that to the aggregate. Okay. I'm going to bring another blank option up on the other side of my measure picker just to make that a little smaller too. So lesson number 1 was use sheets as headers. You can be really, really creative that way. Lesson number 2 is do not underestimate the power of a nice blank object inside your dashboard. I'm going to go ahead. I think I don't need to show the title. I don't need to show the title here. These can all be compact lists now. And then of course we would probably go in and clean up our map and our scatter plot to get rid of our grid lines and the things like that we normally do. But those are the things that I did to kind of, let me see if I can open up my nice pretty one that we had. Right now I have profit and profit.
Yeah, I'm just the way this looks on my dashboard.
Let me see real quick. Oh, yeah.
No, you go standard. And then go. A little smaller if you want.
Also, if you guys haven't already, in Tableau Public every single day, they have a viz of the day, which is actually, I haven't seen today's yet. But I always, every time I log on, I try to take a quick little peek at that. Today they have a really cool Tableau chart catalog. So if you're ever wondered how to make charts that we didn't cover in here, you could download this, click through and see all the, a comet chart. That one's cool. Butterfly charts. I actually think I'm gonna send the link to this in the Slack channel, but definitely check out the viz of the day.
Is this from already, like, from other people's?
Yep. Cool. I guess the last thing that I had in here that we haven't covered is pictures. So just like the blank thing, the blank object down here, you can also bring in the image object. And I'm just going to put that up to the right of my header here. And then you can just choose any image that you have. I have the little Omaha Data Science Academy here. And then I always go, well, I'm not going to do it to start just to show you, but we're going to want to fit and center the image. So if I click OK, it'll just bring in the image just as is, the same size and everything like that. So you want to make sure that you fit the image to make it the right size and then center it. And then obviously you can drag this around. Cool. Any questions on using the sheets as headers, the sheets as an axis, blank objects or picture objects? Very cool. Yeah, let me see. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I think bring the breakdown choice on your text. So that's the breakdown.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
All right. So I think that's basically everything that I had in the dashboard, other than cleaning up some things like I mentioned that I wanted to cover. Okay, so these next two things are things that we had. I think like yeah. For the people remote, somebody just walked by with a little salt dispenser, and it just sounded like, yeah, it sounded like we were about to be engulfed by a flood. So groups and hierarchies, these are both pretty quick things, but things that we didn't have quite time to get to a few weeks back, so I wanted to show you real quick. If you've ever noticed if we bring in order date to the top, and bring in our sum of sales. We've done this, or at least I've always done this. You can click the plus sign and it goes to quarters, and then it goes to months. So then I normally get rid of the quarters. But this is what's called a hierarchy in Tableau. And what's cool is when you publish this, so people can't see the columns and rows, they can actually go down to the x-axis here and click plus or minus and actually see the data on whatever frequency they want. So, oops, how do I get rid of it now? I've gone full screen. But, so this is a built-in hierarchy in Tableau that you can play around with as the end user, which is cool. Tableau automatically does that by default for dates, but you can also create your own hierarchies. So one that I think we probably should have been using this whole class is category and subcategory. We know if we just drag them both up here, that each category, furniture, office supplies, and technology, have their own little subset of subcategories underneath. So wouldn't it be nice if we could expand and contract the subcategories when we publish? So all you need to do in order to be able to do that is take subcategory and drag it on top of category. And it'll pop up, create hierarchy. You can call it something different if you want, but I normally just leave it as is. And now we have this new field that's called category subcategory. And we would drag that up there. We get our nice little plus button. So we could expand those. I actually don't know why. I think it might have something to do with my monitor, but there should be a little minus button to bring the back in. But that actually allows the end user to be able to expand those out. I use those all the time at work for like sales goals and things like that. I will create a hierarchy that has like BDR, and there's multiple BDRs under a BDS, and there's multiple BDSs underneath the sales manager. There's multiple sales managers under the region, and multiple regions for our entire floor. So then what that allows me to do is I can just publish one dashboard that's like, this is how many sales we had this month. And our VP of sales can look at it and be like, okay, good. Our regional sales managers can click into it and be like, okay, here's which one of my BDS is doing the best. They can click into it again and say, here's which one of my BDRs is doing the best. So a really, really powerful built-in feature of Tableau that all you have to do is, we can drag this on top of, or bring region on top here. All you have to do is just drag it and it creates it. Any questions on hierarchies?
So if you want to do like region with ship mode or something like that, you can put the top.
Yep.
Problems on my ground.
Yep, absolutely.
There's some of that, it wouldn't do, everything doesn't matter, perimeter, or it's table. I'm just saying.
No, you should be good. I guess you can't do measures on top of measures. They have to be discrete variables. They have to be the dimensions at the top. But even ones that like don't really make sense. So let's do like product name and region. So there's going to be multiple products across multiple regions. So we have central, east, southwest. We can expand that out. And now we have all of our different product names by, there's central, there's east, the different regions. So you can expand it back in. Cool. We're flying. Yep. Heck yeah. Yeah, I love the little, the built-in things. I'm actually going to drop another little URL. So one of my favorite Tableau videos ever is Tableau tricks. Is it 100 an hour? Speed tipping. So little things like that. They have these two Tableau Zen masters go through, and they each get like 30 minutes, and they see how many like tips and tricks they can say in those 30 minutes. So out of these 17,000 views, I'm probably at least half of them. I'm going to drop that in the chat too. My favorite one that they ever taught me, I actually don't know if I've taught you guys this yet, but you can color your sheets at the bottom. So if you right click here, you can go color here and it gives you that little color indicator. You can right click on your sheets here and do your little color indicator. And so what I do use this for all the time is like if I'm building out a dashboard and I know I'm going to want like my top section here, and then I'm going to want like my bottom section here and my right section over here, I'll start to organize my little sheets based on where I want them, or if one's showing sales and one's showing profit, anything like that. It's not a super powerful Tableau trick, but it is something that I learned from that YouTube video and I use it all the time.
I have a question about the hierarchy. Like, when do you determine, I'm going to use hierarchy? I know you said it's sometimes at work, but for us that are like in class, like, you got to assign your room, like, okay, this needs to be like hierarchy.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was basically, when do you know that you should be using a hierarchy? I'd say the first thing is if you're not showing, can we like remove hierarchy? Yeah. If we are just showing category, if we only have one pill up on the columns, well, then obviously there's nothing to do for a hierarchy. So we know we're not to. So the first point you'd get to where you ever even consider using a hierarchy is if you drag something else up there. So now we have two things. So we know a hierarchy is at least a possibility. Then the question would be, do I want to give my end user the ability to filter between these? So we've talked about building dashboards to just like present, and we've talked mainly just last week about self-service dashboards. So if this is something that somebody's just going to be looking at and they can't interact with, you wouldn't want to hide subcategory underneath a hierarchy where they're looking at your dashboard at work or it's in a PowerPoint and all they can see is category. They don't know subcategories in there. But if they're going to be playing with it and they want to give them the ability to zoom in, I don't know why you wouldn't toss a hierarchy in there. It's just thinking through how are they going to use your dashboard. Yeah, Charity.
Does it matter if it's like people and tables? Because when I'm trying to do it, it's not.
Let me see. I think yeah, I think as long as so yours are actually already in the hierarchy. Something's not working here.
Can you do it with dimensions and measurements, or just dimensions?
Just dimensions, yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're flying. I went out of order a little bit here. Another thing that we skipped over a few weeks back was groups. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my hierarchies. Groups are, well, the definition of the group is basically in the name. It's a group. If you click on any dimension and you go create, we've done the first one here, calculated field, right? We've created calculated fields a million times. Right underneath that is the option to create a group. And what that allows you to do is basically group. I'm saying group a lot. Group multiple values together. So say, what's a good use case for this? Actually, what I've done before is, let's go with our region and our sales. Where's region here? Say I want to highlight the West region. I think we did this a few weeks back and we did like an if statement, if West, then red, else blue. We could also go in, and probably what I do more often is I go in, I create a group, and I am going to group everything that's not West together. I'm just going to call this other. I'm not going to call it other, I guess. Others. We'll just call that West. So now I have two groups, others and West. So now I created a new field, and you can see this region is grouped. I can drag that on the colors, and you can see in my groups, I just have West and I have others. So that's another way you could do it. Maybe a more straightforward way is pretend we didn't have this subcategory, or pretend we didn't have this category field that automatically rolls everything up. Say we just had subcategory. We could go in, create a group, and we could say, I'm just picking random ones. These are category 1. These are category 2. These are category 3. So now I've created these subcategory groups that have, right, category 1, category 2, category 3. Now I could bring in my subcategories and see category 1 right here, category 2 right here, category 3. So it just allows you a way to group things up. And then using what we just learned, we could even go in and say subcategory in the group here. We can create a hierarchy. So then we can start with category 1, 2, 3 and expand those out. Yep. So just click into, let's group cities together. You just click on the arrow just like you were going to create a calculated field, but instead we're going to click group. And then basically you can hold down control to click select whichever ones you want and just click group.
What's the difference between what you just did, and there's ones that group by, I guess I was browsing down below. Lower. The group by, I was getting, so if you went to city, like we did earlier, and then there's down.
Oh, so this is actually a cool kind of trick too. Right now, you can't really see. Yeah, you can see this little like thin gray line between my dimensions up top and my measures down low. If I wanted to group my actual fields, so I just want to organize these better. Here, let me show you what I mean. Say we have orders and we also have people. I did that wrong. So we have orders and we have people. Just joined up on region. Yep. So now if we have two different tables in there, see how it has orders and all of our fields from orders here, and we have people, all of our fields from people here. Same thing here, we have orders. So the group by you were seeing is referencing how our actual columns are grouped. So right now they're by tables. I could go in here and I could go group by folders. And you can see right now I have no folders, but I can, how do you do this? As you can tell, I don't use folders a whole lot. Create. Oh, folders. Do it. So right underneath group by now there's a folder. And say, actually, I have done this before in that if dashboards where I'm creating a ton of calculated fields, sometimes I'll get confused. And we've actually done this in class too. I'll get confused on like what's an actual field in the data versus what's the field I'll make. So I'll create a folder called like calculated fields. Now I have my calculated fields up top where I can bring in, let's see, these are both calculated fields. Our measure choice was a calculated field. Person was not. Cancel. I get it out of there. But that's the point. So now if I had a ton of different things, maybe I could go and say like everything sales related goes in a folder, everything people related goes in a folder. And then you can always go back to go group by the tables instead to get rid of them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't have a better answer there. I don't use
No, I
folders a lot.
Make sure, like, or they was that shortcut. I don't know.
Right. Okay. The last couple things I want to cover are kind of Tableau extras, I would call it. So other dashboard extensions we have covered in our dashboard here. We've covered the horizontal and vertical containers. Text is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. If I want to describe like, I don't know, a great use case for it. Maybe something like select the measure you just a way to add text into your dashboard here. So maybe I want to tell the end user that they can select the measure that they want to
What
see
if
right
they
here.
didn't have, like, does it automatically default to a certain space? I mean, next. Like,
No.
It was a blank, right? It was a blank container.
It was a text container.
It wasn't, so it does its own text.
Yep. But you can go in. You can go in and you can make it as big or small as you'd like. Pretty straightforward there. Now we're going to come back to extensions. Ask data you actually can't use in Tableau Public, I don't think. Ask data isn't supported, so ignore that one. Data story is if we had talked at one point about the difference between dashboards and stories. You can actually create a story and embed that. Gosh, you can't use data stories in Tableau Public either. They really try to trick you into upgrading and paying for Tableau. But you could actually put a story inside your dashboard too. So a lot of times, I've never actually done that before. What's cool about dashboards is you can add pretty much anything in there. So a lot of times what people will do is they'll create just one big long dashboard that like you have to scroll all the way down, and they'll have like a story at the top that people can click through, and then some text here kind of describing the story, and then another sheet here, and then you'll scroll down a little more and they'll have another story here, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the use case of if you wanted to put multiple things inside multiple things inside multiple things inside of a dashboard, you could do that.
What would be the purpose of, like, I guess the data story or even, well, I guess not.
Yeah, let me,
Like, it sounds like you guys don't do that for the sake of, data for it's more of a, I just data.
yeah.
It sounds like there is for other industries or other companies.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a good example here. I think I remember one. So this isn't great, but this is kind of what I was talking about. Is this is a dashboard that someone had built out, and you can see the way that they laid out this dashboard is more in kind of a like article type setting. So you can scroll down. They have charts embedded in here. They have another chart here. What you could do is if at one point you wanted to put a data story and say like, literally click through and see these different things, you could embed that in your dashboard. So I'd say, it's called story because it's more for storytelling. So if that's the type of thing that you're looking to build out, that's probably when you'd want to use it. And in case you're wondering, I'm going to drop a third link in the chat. So Tableau does this thing called Iron Viz every year, which if you guys are bored, you should definitely apply for. Basically what they do is they give you a theme, and everyone across the US, actually they have international competitions as well too, can submit an application. So for 2023, you can see all the submissions that have been applied so far. So these are everyone trying to prove that they're the best Tableau designer out there. But what's cool is then at their conference, I've never done it, but it's on my bucket list. I have seen a competition live. So they pick basically the top 3 submissions, and they get invited to Tableau conference. And on Tableau conference, they literally have the 3 people, right? These are the 3 submissions. They give them an hour and a data set, and they say, make the best dashboards you can make. And they have their screen projected behind them. So literally, I'll click into the video here. Yeah, this is like this is just the front few rows, but it's like in a. Oh yeah, I've been there. I've been one of those people banging the things before. It's electric. It's so much cooler than a basketball or a football game watching people do Tableau. But literally, we're 31 minutes in, and this guy's made this already.
Is the same data from all?
Yep, the same data across the board. Yeah, and you see people mess up, and you see the different ways that people. So they have a judge would be cool, but they also have their own individual spokespeople. So the 3 people that you can see here in front of the desks are working, but the 2 judges will ask them questions, and the 3 people standing beside them will answer for them and hype them up. And that's what I would like to do. And I'd be like, oh, he's using a parameter right here, and this is so dynamic. And they literally go crazy about it. Yeah, they're people that they pick. So they'll either bring former Iron Viz champions to come and be their person, or someone at work, their manager or something like that. The judges themselves are former, I think, Iron Viz champs. So these 3 judges here, the 2 spokesmen, they're just really, really high energy, bubbly people. And then at the end, they have them. They go through and actually walk. So yeah, it is crazy. So here's the 2022 one, but every single you can.
They're like a chef's kind of outfit uniform.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe that is a little play on Iron Viz, Iron Chef. I've never connected those dots before. So there you go. There is my third link of the night to go out and look at. Dashboard extension, or let's see, blank workflow. I don't think I've ever used before. Yeah, you have to be authorized. Sorry, a lot of these cool things are not available in public. Nope. Web pages. This one's kind of cool. I've used this before. It's literally exactly what it sounds like. Boring. Sorry, it's just my default because I know it. It literally pulls in a web page, which is pretty crazy. Exactly. Yep.
So you can like pulling data from like how she was doing Airbnb and then have like your page created on Airbnb website and like.
Exactly.
up there making stuff.
Side by side. Yep. You also could, if you wanted to embed like your www.google drive/sheet or whatever, you could actually have your sheet right here and enter in the data and then see it like refresh real time. So you don't have to like click between the two, which is something that we've done for like surveys and stuff. It's like, hey, go out here, fill out the survey, and then it shows the results in real time. Navigation, we're not going to cover. And then download is another one that I use a lot. So this one would actually be a great, let's actually do this in our public one. Let's bring download up here to the right of the picture. And let's change this to, yeah, call it in all caps. I like it here better. So I'm going to use another blank object here. I'm going to put it right above my download so that it forces it to go all the way down to the bottom as opposed to being right here. But now, and so let's put ourselves back in the shoes of where we built this for our manager. We say, hey, you can slice and dice this 50,000 different ways or whatever the calculation ended up being. Our manager goes and builds, oh, if you see sales by discount in our subcategories, colored by our average sales. This is a really, really interesting insight. I want to share this with the team. He can actually click this download button and it will say, do you want to do the entire workbook or just the sheet? Do we want to do paper size? Let's keep it on. Let's see, portraits this way. Let's go landscape. I click OK and it will, book 2, I should have titled it something better, actually download a picture of this dashboard. So then he now has a PDF of, look, he had sales by discount broken up by subcategory, colored by average sales. He downloaded the dashboard and now he can put this in his PowerPoint, so he can email it to corporate, he could whatever, he doesn't have to try to recreate it every time in Tableau. So a lot of times on self-service dashboards, I'll put a download button in the middle or down at the bottom to basically let them save what they had ever done and take a snapshot of it. Could they just take a screenshot?
I just said the same thing.
Yes, they could. But it's a little cooler. So that's pretty much all the different objects here. The very last thing I wanted to talk through is Tableau plugins. So full disclosure, I've used these 2 or 3 times in my life. But you can see this little extension thing here. If I pull this over, add an extension. People have built additional functionality to sit on top of Tableau. So if you want to do something that Tableau doesn't do by default, someone has probably brought an extension in. Now, over the past 8 classes, you guys have been just bombarded with things that Tableau can do, which is why it's really, really rare that I need an extension. But the one I have used, and it won't work because I don't have data set up for it. Let's actually just go out to they're really, really fun, especially now that you guys know what's possible in Tableau. You'll be able to appreciate these a little more. Say you wanted to make one of these cool charts, dynamic sunburst chart. Look at how awesome that is. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can click and it does change things. I've never seen one before, but you can download it. And then like it's very, very similar to how we created, we clicked show me to pull in a pie chart or something like that. It's literally, it will tell you exactly where to put your data, exactly how to build it, and it will build that.
Is there like a or like is this data that is going to be used up? Like, is there anything bad that could happen from it? Like in an extension? Like, I don't know.
Nope. The only thing that's like, they'll work if your data is structured a certain way. Like just because they were able to make this pretty chart, their data may be structured slightly different way. So you may have to do some data engineering, some data munging to make columns rows or vice versa. But my favorite one and the one that I've used the most is something called a Sankey. Not where I can search for it. Oh no, it's called Show Me More. So this is a little play on the tab. Where the heck is it?
You had it earlier. And just, it was like a game.
Should be one of the first. Oh, there we go. There's a 2.0 out now. So this is a little play on the Tableau Show Me, right? The default ones it gives you. And Show Me More, yeah, Sankey diagram. We're all some weird noises all around us tonight.
No, that it was like how the pizza. Yeah, like lifting it more.
I'm gonna try not to think about that too much. So this is can we make this full screen? You guys have probably seen Sankey diagrams before, right? If you want to show, like, of all the technology spend, how much of it went to the west, how much went to the south, how much went to the east, then of the west, how much of it went to standard class. Oh, they're using, yeah, classic. You guys know what data set they're using for this. You could also do these cool little Venn diagrams.
So it's just like extending like
Yeah, exactly. Radar charts, Venn I've used it for a radar chart before.
So this should work for both public and also like the premium pay, like where is it?
Let's just try it. Don't get your hopes up too high. Let's see. So I think if we go extensions, let's just do the,
So like that would be the catch.
let's do the dynamic starburst, sunburst, add to dashboard. So it downloads it. Do I want to allow it? Click OK. So, okay, so here we go. We're off to a hot start. It comes, let's get rid of everything else. We're full sunburst mode now. There we go. Please have a sheet created with required fields, load it in the dashboard. Use the floating option and reduce the size as much as possible according to the hierarchy level. The I number of dimensions that uses 3. So we need to have a sheet created. So let's call this sunburst. I think it said it needed to be hierarchical, and we know how to do that now. So let's go region, then category, and then subcategory. So now we got our things here. And then let's just bring sales here. So now that this is creating, we can go, oh, it has to be on the dashboard too. Sunburst. A minimum of 3 dimensions are required. Okay. Will it work? I may have broken everything. I'm not giving up here. When we pulled that in, Add extension. Dynamic sunburst. Okay. So maybe we don't want it to be hierarchical. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I guess the hierarchy is not what it needed. Sum of sales, create chart. Oh! All right, guys, we did it. So what does this mean? I don't know. I've never seen one before. But we can click into furniture. It shows our different furnitures here. So by central, here's the different furniture. Then if we click this, we can go back. Yeah. So let's go into office supplies. Okay. So here's, yeah, it goes out. When you just click into one, it brings it around. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm going to go to work tomorrow and I'm going to make one of these. I'm going to publish it and I'm just going to blow the socks off of every single person on the data science team. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's not. It's a sunburst chart.
Bring it back. Right. Pie chart.
So there's different, Show Me More is a cool one just because it has so many different, let's go to Show Me More. What did you say?
So like DNA markers, like you know when they see it.
Oh yeah. Gosh, that is just so cool. I'm trying to think of like use cases for it now. So here's I think we can actually do this Sankey. Level 1, we'll do category. Level 2, we'll do a region category. We can only do 2, I guess, because we don't have the full version. We'll go sum of sales. Yeah. And maybe it won't even, can it hide that thing? There we go. So there you go. Now we have a nice little, if we want to see the percentage of our central region, furniture, office supplies.
And you can use the features from already that you have, like which color and stuff, you just would use what's already in some.
Yep. Gosh, that sunburst is cool. So then outside of just other cool charts you can make, there are also some other things that you can use. So the next dashboard will actually go through and click through your dashboards for the user so they can kind of sit back like a little slideshow thing. One that I've used a lot is dashboard usage. So this will actually track every single like event that your end user does in your dashboard. So if you want to see how often people are filtering or how often people are clicking into Zoom or how often people are using your hierarchies, it will tell you that. Yeah.
You said data. So right, I think that's data that you're retrieving from your users.
Mm-hmm.
Does that get to whomever made this extension? Does it also go to them?
Great question. I don't know.
Okay.
Data writer. This allows you to actually, like if you had a text box in Tableau you could actually get user input and it would write back to a database for you. Bar race, how many of you guys have seen these like little animations before? So over time, it shows you right here, it's showing the best brands over time. You can use that. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but you can tell I get pretty nerded out by them. They're really, really interesting. Auto refresh. That would be really nice. Remember in Tableau Public, if we wanted to refresh our dashboard from the data we created in Google Drive, we had to go in and click the little button down at the bottom, which was really annoying. Someone built an extension to automatically do that for you. So here we go. That would have been fun. That would have been really fun. Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember the bar race and the.
I can see you use the sunburst. I don't know if it's possible. Kind of have that kind of same race element to it. Be like King of the Mountains, where like the middle shows like the #1 region or the management sales team. Is that when it gets replaced? And everyone has a different color, so then whoever's top is the middle.
Right.
Their color based
And then they zoom back out.
Yeah, like it's King of the Mountain.
Yeah, I really like that idea. Yeah, I'm trying to go through all the different things we could do with it. Cool. We're at 7:52. My goal was to get out by 8. That's pretty much everything that I had. We have an extra hour. There's no homework or anything like that. So if you guys do have questions, I'll take them now. Otherwise, I'll give a little wrap-up speech about anything. Tableau, life, the pursuit of happiness.
Chapter 1.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's been an absolute honor. I want to echo a couple of the things that Nate said about the Omaha Data Science family that you guys are now officially part of. It's true. Nate's connected me with so many people. I get lunch with people that I met at a data science meetup. I get lunch with my old manager. Omaha is, and I'm not just saying this, I promise, one of the top 3 or 4 cities for data science across the whole U.S. We have the tech AI Silicon Valley vibe. They're doing some really provocative stuff up in Minneapolis as well too. You have like Omaha and Kansas City. Those are kind of like the leaders for data science. So it's really, really cool to be on the forefront. They're not doing stuff like this everywhere else in the world. The Omaha Data Science Academy is a really, really cool thing. And I'm really, really happy that you guys are taking advantage of it. So use the other nerds in the city. Use the Slack channel, use me, use each other, use Nate. If you guys want to get coffee, if you guys want to talk about data, if you want to send me a link to your Tableau public dashboards, do it. Like, it's all about connections. So congrats. You have your cool certificates. I'm sorry, Nate spelled all of your names wrong. It sounded like, it was funny when he was talking about how he's like, the thing I care about least on resumes is your name. And I'm like, yeah, I can tell Nate just clearly does not care about names at all. So congrats on having the first class down. The rest of the syllabus is awesome. Absolutely. Laura sounds awesome. I'd never met her before, but I'm definitely going to connect with her. That's great. And then just personally, this is my first time ever teaching a class, and you guys were a fantastic group to have. So thank you for asking good questions. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for doing your homework. You made it really, really easy and really, really fun. I didn't know if I wanted to do this or not. So I truly enjoyed coming to hang out with you guys for the past 4 weeks. So appreciate that. Yeah. I'm getting a little teary-eyed. Ted and James, I thank you guys very much for joining virtually and participating and doing the homework and sharing your screens and stuff like that. I know it's not the ideal setup, but hopefully you got a ton of value out of it. And I appreciate you grudging through every week. So thank you all very much. I will, let's get the hell out of here. Take some pizza to go.
Well done, Charlie. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you guys.